Dylan Sider with Kinfolk Carpentry here. Today I'm starting a new project, a little bit of a kitchen refresh. But the thing I want to talk to you about today is kind of the ins and outs of being a subcontractor and maybe some of my thoughts that could help you out. As we're getting started here, one of the things that you might find helpful is to go back and watch a video how I got started in carpentry. But just a brief explanation is I basically have been a carpenter for since 2008, so a long time. And I grew up working for my dad and then got married and moved to the States because I'm Canadian. And when I moved to the States, I worked for a custom home builder for a few years and then moved towns and decided to work for myself. There's some more story to that, but that's the gist of it. And in working for myself, I do some work solely for myself, like for direct to client, but a good amount of my work is as a subcontractor. And that's basically what keeps me busy throughout the year. Here's a tip when you're trying to control dust. This is just a drop cloth and I just put a few small nails on the top of the trim where no one's ever gonna see and drape a drop cloth over a door that you don't want dust to go through. So that's what I did just there. And I've already put down a bunch of flooring protection and I'm just kind of moving my way through the house. Wherever I'm working, I just want to protect the floor so I'm not scratching up stuff and beating stuff up. For those of you who don't know what a subcontractor is or does, essentially, we don't work directly for a homeowner, but we work for a company. So as of right now, I'm my own company as Kinfolk Carpentry, Kinfolk Company, and right now McLennan Contracting is hiring me to run this kitchen job and do all the carpentry aspects of the job. And so that's what a subcontractor is. They are not the ones that hold the permits and all those things, but they're the ones that actually physically do the work. Like a plumber, electrician, they're usually subcontractors to the actual contractor. The benefits of being a subcontractor is that you don't have to do a lot of the legwork for the job, unless that's what you're contracted to do. But as for me, I don't have to pull permits or order materials or do the design. I'm more or less here to perform the work. So it takes a lot of the strain of emailing and things out of the equation. So that's one benefit to being a subcontractor versus the actual contractor. So this is the stuff I'm using on the floor. Guardia surface protection. I don't know if you can take a picture of that with your phone if you're watching. This stuff's great. It sticks to hard surfaces. You can just put it down in all your walkways and working areas so that when your trades are in and out, they're not dragging in mud and stones and dirt and scratching floors up, beating stuff up as they're working with tools and things. Protects the floor and makes the customer happy. So that's what I'm doing right now throughout the whole house. I have to go up the steps. This stuff doesn't stick to steps well, so to carpet, I should say. Well, it'll stick to steps, but I use this carpet shield to go up the carpeted areas because we're going to be doing some work in the bathroom as well. Another pro to subcontracting is the freedom it gives you, but with freedom comes great responsibility. I don't know if someone famous said that.
With great power comes great responsibility.
You have the freedom to not do a job you don't want to do. You can say no to stuff. You have the freedom to set your own pay and make more money if you want to. And you have the freedom to take time off when you want to take time off. But with that, if you set your rates too high, no one will hire you because you're too expensive. And you can take lots of time off, but you don't get paid time off unless you save for it. And if you take too much time off, then you're unreliable and people don't want to hire you. So it's a give and take game. Got lots of freedom, but you have to use that well so that you make a good impression on people and use your time wisely. I think one of the benefits of subcontracting is time. A regular contractor spends a lot of time after hours emailing clients if there's issues, ordering materials, looking at new jobs, and then completing the work. Whereas a subcontractor has a little more freedom because they are only performing the work. Now, you can work long hours if the job is behind schedule or things like that, but you are not required to do it all. You're just required to do a small amount of it. So that's one benefit, is time. So the last pro I'm going to talk about, which some could take it as a con, is the tax piece. You do own a business, so you're able to write off lots of things, your vehicle and your gas and internet. But I do find it can be a con because you pay a lot in taxes to own a business if you don't have a lot of write-offs. Say you already own a vehicle and you don't travel a ton or whatever. You pay a lot in taxes, and it's kind of a burden. You've got to go through the hassle of W-2s and paperwork. So that certainly can be a con as well. But there's certainly a lot of benefits if you are good with taxes and stay organized and things. There's lots of write-offs and benefits to owning a business. Alrighty. This is just like a thin piece of like felt board. Kind of weird, I just found it. And I thought it'd work good for covering the top of the tub. I'm gonna cut it the size of the tub and use it. Use it to protect. All right, worked like a charm. So that's the intended goal. That way, when I bust all this tile out, it'll drop onto that instead of dropping down into the tub, which we're saving. So that's how you protect a tub, folks. So I think we're pretty much ready for demo. All this tile comes out. This vanity comes out. Basically all the accessories comes out. The only thing that's staying is the tub and the floor and the toilet. So yeah. Makeup mirror, anyone? It's trippy. All right, let's start talking about the cons. The first downside of subcontracting is you're not making the profit that the actual contractor who's running the job would make. Typically, I work by the hour, get paid by the hour, so you're limited on that. But I do bid some jobs when, say I do a lot of cabinet installs, so sometimes I'll bid a whole kitchen install and I'll work my profits into that. So on top of paying myself, my business makes a little bit of money. Whereas that's not the case when you're working by the hour. And a lot of carpentry jobs are by the hour because you are doing a good amount of the work. It's hard to bid something when you're on site all day, every day, and you're doing a wide variety of tasks. So When there's a very specialized job like installing all the kitchen cabinets, you can bid it, or say installing a window. There are some aspects that you can bid, but a lot of the time I work by the hour, so it limits the amount you can make. One of the big downsides of subcontracting is job security. So essentially a business is more likely to keep employees than a subcontractor. If times get tough or slow, they're going to want to keep the guys that they employ busy instead of hiring outside guys. And sometimes you're kind of searching for work if you rely on subcontractor work instead of client work. And it's kind of a dance you have to do, because if you commit to subcontracting for the same person a lot, then the people that you've done work for before will call you to help them out, but you're always busy, so then they quit calling and they find other people to do the job that you usually would do for them. So it's this dance of trying to keep everybody happy, but yet keeping yourself busy at the same time. Fun. I never get why the HGTV shows always like glorify demo day. Demo day! Say it's fun for like half an hour, maybe. Closer. Shoot. Or if I can. Oh. Nice thing about an aluminum trailer. Yeah, that's better. Sitting down to eat a little lunch, underrated combo, chili and rice. That's what's up. I listen to a lot of audiobooks during the day. This is the one I'm on right now, The Deep, Deep Snow. Mystery thriller, so far so good. Another downside to subcontracting is your lack of paid time off. 401k, medical benefits, all those things kind of add up to cost you a good amount of money in the long haul. For example, right now I'm working for McLennan, and their whole office staff and their carpenter had in between New Year's and Christmas off paid, and I took that same time off, but obviously no money came in. So that is, the price you pay to be self-employed. All right, so I've got a good amount of this shower all demoed. It was built quite well. Now that I've talked about the pros and cons of subcontracting work, I think we can move on to advice for people who are looking to get into subcontracting. I think the biggest thing for me that's made a difference is building relationships. There's a video in the past that I've talked about how I kind of got started as a business owner, and it was basically to reach out. I reached out to somebody on social media. offered to buy him a beer or a coffee, and just got advice on running a business and forming a relationship. And that has come in very handy because that person has gave me lots of work over the years and introduced me to lots of other people who have supplied me with work. And just recently, just before Christmas, I had a job that fell through, and so I ended up scrambling for work, and I have a group chat with like 5 or 6 other guys, and I texted them all and just said, hey, I'm looking for work for a few days before Christmas. And someone was like, yeah man, come on over, join me on my job, and all is good. So it pays to meet new people, introduce yourself to new people, tell them what you do, what you specialize in, and build relationships, because at the end of the day, that is what provides you with work, people you know. I think another thing to note about subcontracting is your reputation goes a long way. I think you could easily find somebody for 20 or 30 bucks an hour that will gut a bathroom for you, but they're willing to pay a premium price for someone who is reliable and trustworthy to do the work, instead of someone that they can't trust or rely on. You know, are you going to show up on time, or show up when you say you're going to show up? Are you going to work hard? Are you not going to say something stupid around a client, constantly swearing? You know, all those things make a big difference and will keep you employed. All right, my day is done. That's the end of the video. That's all I've got to say about subcontracting. Hopefully you learned something and it can help you moving forward. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.